Hi there, my name is Gary. I'm with Canadian Orthopedic Supply, and welcome to a virtual demo of the Embrace Vega Plus Hinge knee and the Embrace wrist. So I'm going to start with the knee brace. Here it is here. This brace is made in Italy. It's a 100% cotton next to the skin. The brace is a cotton elastic weave, so it's very comfortable to wear. It's breathable. It's an all-natural fiber. It's washable in the washing machine and hypoallergenic. The brace features three closure mechanisms across the front of the brace, three Velcro closures. This rather unique system gives you an extra adjustability between sizes. So for example, when you have those patients that have a very large very large thigh in relation to their calf, they can be somewhat difficult to fit. I think that happens fairly regularly. With this product, we can adjust the brace to fit them very nicely. I'll show you how here. First, get all the Velcro straps unhooked and fold the Velcro back onto itself like that. That way they don't get all tangled. It makes it easier to work with them. Once that's done, this also enables you to take the brace and open it up really wide. If you have patients who have difficulty putting a knee brace on, do require a certain amount of strength in your hands and in your arms to pull a knee brace into position. Opening up really wide like this will make it much easier for that patient. Also, some patients have difficulty actually getting a knee brace over their foot, bending over to get it over their foot and pull it up their leg. Again, having it nice and wide open like this makes that job a lot easier. The brace has a half moon buttress here and another half moon buttress on the other side. So when you're pulling the brace onto the knee, those buttresses sit on either side of the kneecap. So if I try and put this on my kneecap's right here, I would just slip it on, get those buttresses in position around the kneecap, and then take the Velcro straps and simply just pull them apart tight. Do the middle one first, then do the one on the bottom. And then for the one on the top here, if you need that extra amount of adjustability, I would just take this and just Velcro it right on the edge of where the loop Velcro is, right there. And then when the patient pulls it on, they've got an extra measure of circumference at the thigh. As long as the brace is tight at the center of the knee and at the calf, it's going to stay in place. Being tied up here on the thigh is not terribly important. Now, there is one thing to pay attention to when sizing. Say you have a patient who's on the borderline of a size. They're between a large and an extra large. We always go to the smaller of the two. The reason being that when you initially fit that brace, there's going to be a gap right down the middle here such that you can see the skin beneath it. But after a week or so of wear, these little straps here that are attached to the Velcro will stretch out and the brace will close and fit perfectly. If you happen to fit the larger of the two braces to this patient, what will happen is those little straps will stretch out and this brace will want to Velcro all the way around the back, and there's no more Velcro back there for it to adhere to. So it'll fall down. So always err on the smaller brace if you're presented with that situation. The other thing is this brace also comes very large. We have a 4XL that is in standard range of sizes, and that is good for fitting a 26-inch knee center. So you can handle a very large load with this product. The brace is also quite versatile. Inside the box, there is both a set of flexible steel stays and a set of rigid aluminum stays. So you would use the flexible steel stays. They're made out of plastic and they have a little spiral steel in the middle of them. You would use those when all the patient requires is compression. You would use the rigid steel stays whenever there's an instability present in the patient's leg. And instability can be arthritis, it can be meniscus tear, it can be ligament laxity, any number of things. But if the patient presents an issue where they were walking along and all of a sudden their knee buckled and they fell down, or perhaps their knee locked on them, or maybe it hyperextended, it went too far backwards. All of those things kind of indicate that there's an instability there. and you want to use the rigid hinges, or at least recommend those. Now, these hinges are quite interesting. You have one hinge that is straight and one hinge that is bent. The bent one is the one that goes on the inside of the knee, on the medial side of the knee. By having it curved like that, it more closely follows the natural contours of the patient's leg. And you're going to get a more customized fit with using this hinge than just a standard straight one. And that's another nice feature of this product is in fitting it, it's going to get a much tighter, much more precise fit than a standard brace off the shelf will. It does, however, mean a little bit more work for you, though, because we don't know whether you're going to fit a right knee or a left knee. So these hinges are just sitting in the box in a separate bag, and you have to put them onto the brace. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I do this every time because it can be a little bit confusing. I'm going to take this brace and I'm going to say to myself, today I'm fitting a right knee. So I'm going to take the brace and I'm going to position it on my right knee, just like that. That's the way it's going to sit. That's the front of the brace right there. This hinge, I always take the medial one to start with, the bent one. This hinge has to sit in a slot right along here. And it has to sit in there in such a way that I can still bend my knee, because the hinge only bends in one direction. Like that, does not bend the other way. So I have to get it into that slot just like this. So I can bend my knee and all is good. So I'll just hold it right there now that I've decided that's the position I want. The trick now is I have to get it into this little slot right here, and there's a flap over top of that slot. Now in my sample, that flap is a little bit loose because I've used it a lot, but on the braces on your wall, it's going to be quite tight. So what I recommend is take the hinge and actually go upwards into the slot first. So flip the hinge over, go upwards, and then bring the hinge around and jam it into the slot. And push it right down. That leaves you with this little bit right here, and you've got to get the flap over top of that. So again, it's going to be a little bit tight. So what I recommend is you take the other hinge and use it kind of as a lever arm. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to go underneath, grab hold of the flap, and slowly pull that flap while pushing the hinge into place. Do it slowly at first, and it should just pop right in there. Do the same thing on the other side of the brace, and when you need a lever arm, you can either use the spare plastic spiral stay, or you could use the stay from a back brace that may be hanging around in your fitting room, or anything that's sort of semi-rigid that can grab hold of that flap and make it easier for you to pull it over. You could use your finger, but again, I've pinched my finger many times over the years, and I'd rather use something else. Having said that, I would just get the brace onto some people. I know it's an expensive product, but if people are, take them into the fitting room and fit them with the brace that they've chosen, whether it be a neoprene sleeve or an elastic sleeve, let them try that one, their choice on first, and then say, you know what, I've got something new here, I'd like you to give this a shot and see what you think of it. If you can get it on them, I guarantee you they'll find it more comfortable, better support, and they'll understand why it's an expensive brace. At least at that point, you've given them something to think about, and they can decide for themselves with the knowledge behind them, and make an educated decision as to which product is best for them. So that's all I can ask for you, and that's about all you can do with patients presented in front of you. So moving on to the wrist. The wrist brace, again, here we are. It's not 100% cotton next to the skin, but still this material is extremely thin. It's breathable. It's a mix of different fibers that are meant to wick sweat away from the skin and keep the hands from sweating. What you have here are two sizes for each hand. So you have a right hand and a left hand distinct brace, but within the right and left, there are only two sizes. There's a regular, which is similar to a small medium, and there's an extra, which is similar to a large extra large. So there's a total of only 4 SKUs, and you can handle virtually any size of hand. The really cool feature about this brace, though, aside from its thinness and wicking of sweat away from the skin, is the contoured steel stay on the palm of the hand. I'm just going to pull this out here so you get a little bit better look at it. So you can see the stay has a cutout right here so that it goes around the thumb, just like that. This brace will provide patients who have to wear a wrist brace during the day with an awful lot more mobility than a standard wrist brace. I'm going to put it on so you get a little bit better idea of what I'm talking about here. But just put that right back into the slot. Push it into place. You pull the brace on like a glove. This is the right hand that I'm wearing here. And then first off, I would do up the Velcro straps across the wrist so you get it secure onto your hand. And then this flap here just goes across the top, just comfortably tight. Doesn't need to be super tight. When you're done, that is what the wrist brace looks like on your hand. And it's super low profile. Anybody who wears a wrist brace already will immediately recognize that this one is a lot more comfortable. You can still wear it at night because that's primarily when wrist braces are prescribed to be worn. It's very important that a patient have a 6 to an 8 hour period at night where their wrist is at rest. They can't turn it this way or that way. So it has to have a steel stay on the top and on the bottom, which this does. But during the day, it's just the work situations the way they are, with all of us on keyboards all the time and using our cell phones, etc. A lot of times a patient can't make it through the day without quite a lot of pain, and they're forced to have to wear the brace during the day as well. That's where this brace really excels, because the contoured steel stay and the lightweight nature of it, it's a lot more comfortable to wear during the day. So there you have it. Those are 2 featured products from Embrace. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Canadian Orthopedic Supply, and I hope to see you in person soon. But in the interim, I hope this has been informative for you, and it'll make it a little easier for you to speak about Embrace and the future benefits of Embrace. And thanks a lot for your attention. Bye-bye.